guys, Rob here from D&D Toy Reviews, and today we're looking at the Marvel Legends Retro Collection Ben Reilly Spider-Man. So let's jump into it with...
accessories!
Okay, so for accessories, we don't really get much of anything except for some alternate hands. We get fisted hands for him. In the package, he comes with his thwip hands on, and they look pretty good. And we also get the splayed out wall crawling hands, although mine do seem to have some paint slop. I'm not sure if you can see that. There's a bit of paint slop on... Come on, focus. There's some paint slop on the hand there, and one of the fingers. And this one looks to be okay. So just the one hand has a bit of paint slop, but it looks like they're cast in the bluish, purpley plastic, so I can probably just take that off. Okay, so let's move on to...
Articulation!
So articulation-wise, I'm guessing this is on the new animated series inspired Spider-Man Buck. I never picked that Spidey up, but it seems to follow the same articulation. So we get the head on a ball and a long ball, double ball peg inside. So you get pretty good range of motion. It's kind of a Mafex style joint in there, but we do start to see some gaps if you bend it up too far, and you see there's a little bit of plastic flash on the jawline there. But it gives pretty good range of motion for the head. We get a butterfly joint, which moves very nicely, very good range of motion on it. The shoulders, though, can only go up that far. We can't get them straight out, which is a little bit of a shame. We get a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, but it's kind of limited for a double jointed elbow. All of the hands feature the wrist and hinge, the swivel and hinge, sorry. So instead of the usual Marvel Legends where we have the ab crunch and a waist, instead we get the diaphragm joint that allows for a really good range of motion. And then we get an ab crunch. So we can get a pretty deep crunch forward, pretty spine-snapping deep crunch back. But again, if we get too extreme with the articulation, we can start to see some breaks in the sculpt there. For the legs, we get the standard Marvel Legends ball with a drop down, something similar to Mafex or SH Figuarts. And it has a pretty good kick forward. Not much of anything going back. And they go out to the side, decent enough, I suppose. We get a thigh swivel. We get a double jointed knee with very good range of motion. And a lovely red peg in the middle of his blue leg. We get a boot cut. Can't talk today. We get ankle rocker forward and down, so pivot and rocker, pivot, whatever you want to call it, side to side. And that's it for the articulation. To swap out the hands is quite easy. You just pull the one hand out, pop the correct side hand in, and it is a bit tight, but it goes in. The web shooters themselves are kind of soft looking in their detail. I mean, you can see the line in there, but they're made of that weird metallic-y silver plastic that Hasbro likes to use sometimes. So from a distance, it just looks like a giant silver blob. Not like the last Marvel Legends Ben Reilly we got, which had those really nicely defined web shooters. And also the blue they've used for him is more of a purple than a blue. It's in person, it's very purple, which is kind of an odd choice. So if you already have the last Ben Reilly that we got, I forget which wave it came out with. Was it the Demo Goblin? I don't remember. The one that came with the Carnage head and hands. Do you need to switch to this one? I would say no. I sold my old Ben Reilly in anticipation of getting the Mafex one, and then I couldn't find one for sale. So this was my only option for Ben Reilly. Is it a terrible Ben Reilly? No, not really. The paintwork is pretty good for the most part. The lines look very clean. Aside from the slop on the one hand, everything else looks very clean and crisp. But I don't know, he just looks a little too, I don't want to say roided out, but I've always envisioned Spider-Man as being a little more lean and lithe and bulky and really, you know, big muscle type guy. Um, if you don't have a Ben Reilly, this is a perfectly fine one to add to your collection. If you already have the Mafex or the last Marvel Legends Ben Reilly, then I would say you could probably give this a pass. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next time.